It's Friday. Of course, we're banging the drum. It's Todd Rundgren on Grand Prairie's Q99. 9 minutes after 8 o'clock. Friday, filled with clouds and rain. Don't panic. The weekend is looking pretty good. 16 in the sunshine. 2 under a few clouds right now. We'll be all right. It's about 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. I think it's pretty safe to say that the single biggest, most fun, most excitable promotion that we have every year here at Q is, and please don't call, just relax, are you a Tacori girl? Are you? Well, of course you are. As a matter of fact, I remember a woman sending me a Facebook message how embarrassed she was. She saw her phone ringing. It was her dentist calling. She could see it was her dentist calling. She knew he was calling, but she still said, hello, I'm a Tacori girl. But so it has that effect on people. That's fine. We're good. Stay in practice. The man we've been referring to this morning as, and I hope you don't mind, Travis, we've been referring to you as the head bling man from Tacori.
I go by many names, and the head bling man is one of them.
All right, outstanding. He's here in town, helping Janinas out, Tacori, and Tacori Jewelers is kind of a new handle for you. Not the jewelry business, but Tacori's kind of a new path for you.
Tacori is. I am replacing the most familiar voice from Tacori on GP Radio, which was Stefan Alexander. I am new to Tacori. I'm not new to the industry. They actually they came and they poached me overseas from London. I was originally with Tiffany Company in the flagship for the European store, managing fine jewelry. But
yeah, but you know what? What a lot of people don't know as well is that you have a Grand Prairie connection as well too.
And I have a GP connection. You're absolutely right. For the last at least 5 or 6 years, I've been doing. Intermittently, let's say. I'm not always in shape for it. I've been doing the Canadian death race in Grand Cache. And we have some very good friends in Grand Prairie, so always following the death race for some R&R or for some training before it. Come through the Grand Prairie and get to know it. So it's wonderful to be back and to be working here. I love it. I get to spend time in this awesome city.
And do not feel embarrassed for a second. Everybody I've ever talked to who goes to the death race, maybe they don't complete it or they almost feel like they're dying. No. Just entering is a feat all unto its own.
Well, you know, the sign-up process is pretty hard. The form, there's a lot of questions. You got to sign off and tick a lot of boxes, a lot of insurance. But you're absolutely right. Being there is just half of it.
I think when you're getting involved in a foot race and there's a waiver involved, there's always
I couldn't agree more. That's right. Yeah. That's why they have them. Yeah.
All right. So you're here with Tacori. We don't want to assume from our regular listeners who know why you're here. Why don't you tell those who are just turning on the radio going, okay, what's with the bling guy? Why is he here?
Well, firstly, let me just give a huge shout out to Q99, to Grand Prairie. We want to say thanks so much. We love it. As you said, this is the biggest competition. It's our biggest competition in Canada. This is amazing. So thank you so much. Again, to Janinas Jewelers for supporting us for the last 3 years, and especially to all the Tacori girls in Grand Prairie.
And one thing you might as well, I think this does a lot for evening out the sexes as well, because I know of several hundred men in this community who have no problems admitting that they are a Tacori girl.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. No, and we thank our Tacori girls who are guys as well.
Yes, exactly.
And in fact, we want to make them a Tacori couple. So one day we're hoping to have them in a Tacori men's rig. So you know what? That's all right. They're just practicing. I get it. But no, why we're here? Well, naturally, I'm here for the weather. Clearly, Grand Prairie has some of the finest weather. And when it's not snowing, it's always a good time to be in GP. Elton John. I came in specifically for Elton, or he came for me.
Go ahead, go ahead. Throw out the thank yous to the disc jockey who told you about the tickets. Go ahead.
Well, okay, you know what? And here's where I owe Paul the biggest thanks in the world. I of course rock up, and I knew Elton was coming. Months ago, and then I forgot all about it. So I show up, and of course the town is talking about Eldon. I'm secondary, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to get tickets to Elton. And I'm looking everywhere. I'm on the internet, $500, $600. I called Paul yesterday, and Paul says to me, they've just released some new tickets. And I couldn't believe it. I called him up, and yeah, standing room only, but I was behind Eldon. I could see his fingers flying on the keys. Unreal show. So thank you, Paul.
Yeah, all right. You can pat my back from the other side later. That'll be all right.
Yeah, that's right. Can I sit a little closer to you? Punch your arm. Okay. No, I'm lucky enough to be here. I've got 500 rings straight up from L.A. We're doing a trunk show with Janinas. Basically, if you're thinking about getting engaged, if you're thinking about Tacori and Tacori jewelry, now is the best time ever. to stop into Janinas Jewelers, to stop in and visit me. We'll set you up. We'll sit you down. We'll sit through with the beautiful people at Janinas, and we'll get you set up in Tacori.
Well, I mean, traditionally, I guess that spring, summertime, there's a lot of, even if there aren't a lot of weddings going on, there is certainly a lot of major discussions about them as well, too. So I think your timing is pretty good as well.
It absolutely is. Spring is in the air. And actually, on that comment as well, we have, the official launch in Canada of the collection. This is our latest and greatest fashion lifestyle jewelry. This is for our Tacori girls out there. And actually, while we're on the topic of Tacori girls, I want to give huge shout out to this morning's winner, Lily Park.
Oh, yes, our $2,000 winner this morning.
That's right. At what was that? Like just before 7, right? It was early.
It was really early, and quite frankly, I usually expect because they're just getting out of the sack. It's one of these. Oh crap! I'm a Tacori girl, and she was
bang on it, wasn't she?
The first words out of her mouth was, "I'm a Tacori girl."
No, I couldn't believe it. I was not that awake. I would not have. I would have faltered to the challenge. Absolutely.
And of course, we had Margot, one of our huge prize winners. She won over $3,000 worth. She was celebrating an anniversary as well.
I know, it was her 15th anniversary, and actually, I had the pleasure. I was in Janinas yesterday, starting up our trunk show. I had the pleasure of meeting her in store.
Oh, that's very cool.
And her husband. It was fantastic. They walked through. They picked exactly what they wanted, and you could just see her smiling ear to ear. I have not met a more beautiful Tacori girl. It was perfect.
Outstanding. All right, so I'll tell you what. Let's take a break real quick. We'll play a little bit of Headley. We'll do a quick weather check, and then we'll talk about the trunk sale that's happening this weekend, because you're here to visit, but you're also here to work, right?
Absolutely, yeah. All work and no play, right?
All right, you had your play.
Yeah,
you had your play. That's enough of that. We've got to put you to work. We'll be back.
Now, your Q99 etiquette test. Answering the phone like a winner.
Hello, you've reached the Smith residence. Thank you for your call. To whom may I direct your super important call today?
Incorrect.
I'm a Tacori girl.
Correct.
Tacori girl is back.
Today's hits and yesterday's favorites. It's Q99. A little bit of Headley. We got B.O.B. Bob and Rivers Cuomo still to come at 22 after 8 o'clock on a Friday. Clouds, maybe some rain, but sunshine for the weekend. Things looking fabulous. 2, the temperature right now. A little cool, but hang in there. It'll warm up. Travis Ashburner from Tacori Jewelry is in the studio with us this morning. And first off, thank you for getting up early and actually dragging yourself out here.
No, and thank you for having me up early. I'm a morning person. And Paul, I know you're a morning person. What time did you tell me you got up in the morning?
About 3:30.
Yeah.
See, but the difference is, and this is the magic of radio, which I'll spill the beans on completely.
Yeah.
I sitting here dressed in sweats, and you sitting there in that lovely pressed suit.
I
think you've got it down a little better than I have.
There's a tuxedo on your sweats, right?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Shirt.
No,
you look great. You look great.
I know. My wife has already Facebook pictures of what a slob I am in the morning, so don't worry about it. I appreciate it. All right. So, hey,
I think you're beautiful.
I feel pretty inside. All right. Well, the reason Travis is here, other than to help my self-esteem, of course, is the trunk sale going on over at Janinas Jewelers, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But of course, we are wrapping up the most popular bling event when it comes to radio, and it's I'm a Tacori girl. We gave away a couple grand's worth this morning. We've got 2 more calls to do. Ren will do one in the midday, and Ward on the drive home, and that's it for another year. I'm sorry, Tacori girls. But an excuse to get people over to the store. Now, one of the reasons you're here, too, is to talk about a new line with Tacori as well. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
That's absolutely right. And I was breaking into it earlier. It is our Island Rain collection. Spring is in the air. It's fresh. It's a tropical mist of rains.
Hold on, let me close my eyes.
Yeah, that's right. You're on a beach. The water is lapping at your feet. It's blue. It is all blue. It is.
Sorry.
No, it was fantastic.
Very immature. I'm paused.
The conch shell blast in the background. Could have been great. No, it's the Island Rain collection. It is fantastic. It is blue hues. It is spring. It is so fresh and so hot. This jewelry is amazing. And actually, I don't know if the listeners are aware, Janinas is the largest Tacori store in the entirety of Canada.
No, it's so funny because we were chatting last night when I gave you the heads up on the Eldon tickets, and we were just kind of BSing, and we were talking about Janinas, and I said Grande Prairie is the weirdest little town you're ever going to come to. About 50,000 people, and more retail than a community 5 times our size.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you mentioned about Janinas. You go to these huge meetings. You have your sales meetings, and you have stores from Atlanta and New York and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden you have to shout out something about what's a Grande Prairie, Alberta?
Exactly.
What?
And some of those stores are just like, who are these guys? How are they so big? What is it? They haven't been to Grande Prairie. They haven't experienced the GP. I mean, when you're here, you just realize it. That's one of the reasons I love coming to Grande Prairie. It is just such an awesome, vibrant community. Again, we're so grateful to be here, and it's really humbling to be in such a wonderful city full of Tacori girls and our largest Tacori door, our largest Tacori selection in Canada. So for the Island Rain collection that we're talking about, there is no better place. People are always asking, where's the best place to go? You know, can I go to Edmonton? Can I go to Vancouver, Toronto? Where in the world should I go to see the most Tacori? Right here in Grande Prairie, folks. Janinas Jewelers,
and yes,
right by the Sears Center.
Yes, and WestJet flies here, so it's very, very easy to get here as well.
Absolutely, and it's cheap. There we go.
All right, so you're at the store. Are you here your whole weekend, are you?
I'm here the whole weekend. Well, we're open till 9 p.m. tonight. We're open again tomorrow till 5, I believe. And then we're closed Sunday. So it's today and tomorrow only. Get in quick. Come to sit down with me, sit down with the beautiful people at Janinas, and we'll set you up.
Jill will also be there on location this afternoon as well, so you'll hear us not only with Tacori Girl, but we'll be on the air from the store as well. I suspect we will hear your voice on this radio station a few more times this afternoon.
Well, I certainly hope so. I hope we have many more conversations together. This is great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You have a very long and busy day and weekend ahead of you.
I absolutely do, but no better place to be doing it. So one thing, if you don't mind me chiming in here, one thing that we always are frequently asked is, you know, if I'm a guy that's thinking about getting engaged, what's important? Right? What's important? It's confusing. It's what is it? There's all these C's floating around. There's clarity, there's cut, there's color. The 5th C that nobody really talks about, it's communication.
Like a little consultation, perhaps?
Communication. That's right. No, communication with your partner, with your bride-to-be. You know what? Here's a fact for you. Do you know that 7 out of 10 women hate their engagement ring? They hate it.
Because they had nothing to do with the pick and purchase.
You know what I always envision it as? It's like, so if I'm a guy and I'm thinking I'm going to go buy my lady a ring, I mean, I wouldn't want to pick what she's going to wear for 6 months. Could you imagine? Or what she's going to wear for 6 years or for 60 years, heaven forbid, for the rest of her life? I couldn't do it. So the 5th C is the most important. It's communication. 7 out of 10, 70% of women don't like the engagement ring they're given. Come in together. Bring your girl in. Sit down. Sit with our experts. Sit with me. Sit with Janinas. We'll set you up.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Come in. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
We won't hurt you.
No. In fact, we'll set you up. We'll make you look like $1 million. I mean, one thing that guys forget, and you can really play this to your advantage as a dude. Let's talk to the guys for a sec here. You bring in your lady. You come sit down. You choose the ring. She gets exactly what she wants. Well, now there's a delivery time. We got to get that ring on her finger. We got to get that custom made in LA. That's time where, you've got to you can do whatever you want. You can, now all of a sudden you say, oh, I'm gonna go out drinking with the boys. And she's like, okay, that's fine. You're like, I'm gonna go out again with the boys. Okay, because you know what? She knows. She knows that she's getting exactly what she wants.
You're good, boy.
You know what? Hey. That's right.
You didn't get this job on Kijiji, I can tell. Boy. You're pretty good.
No, it was Craigslist.
All right, we got to get Randy in here and do the news here in just 1 minute. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming by this morning. As always, we love you, and so does every Tacori girl in town.
And we love all the Tacori girls in town, especially Q99.